We had a smaller Saturday class than some of our other Saturdays, probably due to the holiday weekend, but we've got footage from that we're going to go over. Let's see. Oh, so this was fun. Hi, Veronica. What's up, Gavin? So I haven't rolled with Johnny since he got his blue belt, like months ago, many months ago. Because then he got his blue belt, and then he started playing rugby for a bit, and school picked up. And he comes to me after class, and he's like, "So we rolling today or what?" I'm like, "Oh God."
Called you out.
He did. So he's a big fridge now with long hair. So I just had to remind him who the boss is. I think Danny and Jason ran over here to the side, which kind of sucks. Would like to have seen their roll. Oh yeah, and he tried to stand up there. I'm like, get down. I earned it. I don't want to have to do that again. So for everybody I've spoken to about passing stuff, you can see right off the bat here as I approach Johnny, I'm looking for my inside foot position. I'm not trying to do toreandos or anything like that with him. I like to get my foot right up the middle, get my split squat stance where I have my knee and elbow connection. That makes it very difficult for Johnny to do what he's trying to do right now, which is get this leg back in between me and him. So you could see I set up a nice little barrier. I can start to drive forward. He tries to shove me off there, but I managed to get to a chest-to-chest position in top half guard. Now I got to fight from there. Do we have class tomorrow? Yeah, thank you, James. We have a 10 a.m. open mat. So no regular scheduled class. I think Johnny missed out largely on the smothering fad that took hold at our school for the longest time, so had to show him a little bit of that, but I end up switching to a triangle that he gets out of. So we got Steven and Gavin up here too. Very slim start to the class. Let's see, I just want to look at this. You can see me creep my hands through in this modified mount position. If you guys want to sneak out the back on somebody from this, you have to make sure that you have both of your arms going through. You don't want to leave one behind and leave yourself open to rear triangles. So I don't do anything. I don't do any big bridging until I know for sure that I can get both of my arms on the outside. And then I get a little knee push, get them off balance, clear out, and get my guard back.
What's up, Deathcore?
How you doing,
It's been a while, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, dude, we're not going anywhere. Busy's a good thing. I assume, unless it totally sucks.
Yeah. Braden and Jackson?
Jackson, yeah.
Braden with a little Dayashi foot sweep.
What did I get? Oh, I think I just got like a belly down armbar on Johnny. So from mount, I hit that little shin pin, switch up to a mounted triangle position, but I don't really get the triangle because Johnny's just a bigger human being now than he was when I could thrash him when he was a 13-year-old orange belt.
He's driving now. It's scary.
Oh my God. I was trying so hard to move him here. It's just I really need to work on my my takedowns from the back. You guys have gotten either I just suck at them, which very well may be the case, or you guys have gotten very good at keeping your base and making those takedowns difficult.
You just kind of laid down into that one.
On this back take?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this is trying to knee cut without the underhook, right? Let's talk about that nonstop. Looks like Braden got himself a little rear naked on Jackson here. He was backpacking on Jackson for quite a long time. It's good. Luke with a heavy snap down on Mitch. Braden's really trying to patent his little fake Imanari to ankle pick.
Mm-hmm.
Up to a double.
Yeah, that was nice.
If he hits that in competition, I will be, I don't know. I'll give him a gold star or something. I'll be very impressed. And yeah, actually, for Gavin and Braden, like, you guys have really worked on your Anaconda Strangle, which I think pairs very well with your wrestling style. So I would highly, I mean, like, don't force it. Like, if the opportunity comes, or if you create the opportunity, go for it. But if you guys find yourselves in a front headlock position at the competition next weekend, I think that should definitely be something you consider trying. Let's see what Luke does here. So be super careful about that, Ben. Ronnie and Jeff. Oh, God, I have a roll with Jeff later that is hilariously boring. Come to find out, he has a bit of a judo background. And I started having flashbacks to back when we used to roll with Francisco and how that often ended when we were blue belts.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper's really putting into action the clearing of the collar ties that I was kind of counseling him on a few weeks ago. Just not accepting the postural breakdown and really using the shoulder to pop those collar ties off. Aries and Jason here behind you. Aries apparently also has a good judo background too. We had a fun roll later where it was he definitely put his judo to work against me, and it was just remarkable how much he was getting me to move and step and finding vulnerabilities.
I haven't trained with him yet.
He's a very fun roll.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised to see he got past Jason's card, actually. I think I missed. May have been off camera. So Jason goes, Jason went for a sweep. And he just didn't get it, so
it was just well timed and good hip switching.
Yeah. Jason has a very powerful bridge. He knows exactly how to create space and fill it with his legs. Let's see what Luke's doing here. It's
Sashi.
a really nice, cross Ashi entrance, just about. You and Andrew. There was so much hair on the mat. I
Yeah.
largely blame Johnny, but it was probably a lot of the kids' class too. That was the nicest Kani Basami cross Ashi entrance I think I've ever seen you attempt.
Well, that's what popped Hobby's ankle.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Exactly what I did here. I was like, the only thing I did different here was I put my hand down on the mat before I dropped down to a knee. But yep.
And you're even, yeah, you came right down to this knee.
Yep.
Afterwards, and you're just like, I'll just put your hands to the mat and try to get to cross Ashi instead of flying into it.
Yeah, I've been very tentative with this, but when people go in for the single leg, it just kind of makes sense for me to dive into it and practice.
Yeah. Monkats, thanks for the follow. And for putting our new, can you say what's up to my daughter Monica to make her day? Monica, what is going on?
What's happening?
Is Monica a jiu-jitsu player as well? Is she a little world beater? I hope so. Now every time we get a follow, I programmed the thing to play like the Hadouken and Shoryuken and
nice.
And get over here for Mortal Kombat. Like they'll randomly play.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was glad we got to put it to the test. Oh, dude, I'm having Jason back in the fray is huge. Just because one, for me, he's my size, and I hate all of you. So, but he's so scrambly. He really really will make everybody get a lot better at mount retention because he knows how to get out of it extremely well. He doesn't waste any time with it. I think while we were talking, sorry, I just want to see Jeff and Ronnie. So Jeff throws up a little armbar attempt. He doesn't have, so he's halfway between a triangle and an armbar, but he has neither, right? This is largely due to his leg configuration. So he's got that kind of TP style grip, which isn't going to do anything for the armbar, but he's really really trying to attack and control the arm. Jeff, if you watch this, I don't know if you're on the stream or if you watch it on YouTube or at all. He has a lot to move, and he has just enough wrestling to base good. Jeff is like 265 and like 6'12". It's really stupid, but what he's got to do here is, if he's going to focus on this 2-on-1 on the arm, I want to see him pulling it across his body and then pulling his knees down to his chest to set up his triangle position. Or if he wants to go for the armbar, I really want to see him cutting his angle. He's going to like scoop under this leg to cut his angle, and I want this leg coming over Ronnie's face on this side, right? You could see just from this freeze frame how he's like stuck between those two spots. And as a result, Ronnie's not in any real danger here. Shrugs the leg by. It's going to be such a problem in 6 to 12 months. Yeah, for sure. Hell, 6 to 12 weeks. Like I said, he has a judo background apparently. I don't know to what level Ronnie's smashing his head into the ground. But yeah, I mean, just that alone can give somebody a really good base. Sorry, so Monica does jiu-jitsu too. Cool. I hope she enjoys the stream. I'm glad to see you guys following us and jumping into the chat. And if she has any questions, please feel free to ask. Face soup.
Yeah, so Andrew hits me with the so I do the standing guard break, but he had a really good bite on my legs, and I wasn't able to really get a big step moving to try and shake his grips. So I was trying to time. I knew he was going to try and dummy sweep me here, and you can see what I do. As soon as I know that I'm getting dummy swept, I'm pinching my knees together to prevent the stand-ups, to prevent the sweep. So I'm kind of timing it. I know where I'm at right now, and I knew it was going to come at some point in time. I'm pinching my knees together immediately. I'm snaking my left hand through the leg, because I knew what I wanted to end this, which is going to be, I'm going to start reaping with my left leg into cross ashi and going straight in for a finishing position, right? I didn't finish it on him. I wasn't going to do an inside heel hook. But I wanted to make sure that I can get into that spot.
Yeah. Reverse triangle soup. So I think we went over the arm bars and triangles, just like the very general 101 entrances at class. And it's good to see you. So we have Ben working it up here too with Luke, which I'm sure Luke is probably pretty thrilled about that. I know he likes when you guys immediately put the stuff that you're learning at class to work, especially when he can just quickly reverse it and do it on you. Which you can see Luke now going through armbar setup right into a triangle because they're very close cousins, and then now even to the Americana finish. He didn't finish a triangle there. He finished the Americana with the triangle setup. Reason you could tell is Ben's arm is not extended. It isn't straightened out. I know it just looks like a bunch of pixels right now, but it's contrast that to how Jeff was holding Ronnie's arm a few minutes ago. It's not like that. It's bent at 90 degrees, and then with the triangle grip that he has set up around the neck, that's where he can start to hip in and put the Americana pressure on with that grip. Case in point with Jason, right here at the bottom of the screen, Aries gets a nice pass there briefly, throwing the leg by, and notice Jason's really well connected to the ground with his foot. It lets him shrimp out very, very powerfully, and he immediately gets his knees back in, and Aries loses his guard pass.
Jason's looking yoked.
Yeah. He is really strong.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Very nice armbar.
Armbar.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll be sure to tell him you said that, Ronnie, in front of you. Yeah, so this is great. So Aries just gets caught a little overextended here. I would say this is closely related to what I talk about with you guys when I see beginners attacking within close guard rather than just focusing on breaking the guard. Right now, as Aries presses forward, he's not dealing with closed guard, but he's in Jason's open guard, particularly a butterfly guard. But he entered it with this collar tie, which is just extending his own arm and leaving him very vulnerable. So once Jason gets a grip on that, takes it out to the side, and elevates his hips to get to the traditional armbar position as opposed to like a Udigatami or something like that. So I'd rather see Aries have his hands at Jason's hips or pinning the legs, since his focus at that point would be to get around the legs. You're not going to do much of that with a collar tie. Let's zoom forward a little bit here. So you and I going over that stuff. Okay, Luke and Jeff. It's not every day you get to see somebody bigger than Luke working with him. Taller and heavier, you know? Left his head out there. Got caught in a standing guillotine. Luke, not one to hit the same thing twice. This is an interesting switch in strategy, though, that you don't get to see Luke doing too much, because Luke's tall and a big guy, so he doesn't have to resort to this kind of stuff too frequently. But you could see he's really focusing on using snap downs and collar ties to bring Jeff down to his level. I would imagine Luke doesn't want to shoot on Jeff right now, especially just because a little inside information, Luke's right shoulder is not in the best condition. So, you know, taking a shot, being sprawled on, supporting the weight, all that, probably not something he wants to do. So he's looking to bring the crown of Jeff's head down below his armpit in order to like break his posture and get to work from there. Not the same thing you're going to see him doing. Well, obviously not with me, because he doesn't need to break my posture too far to throw a front headlock on. But he's not going to sit to guard. You know, he's not. What are other common things he does? He's not like going in on underhooks very aggressively like he likes to do. Totally different stand-up game. I guess you and Gavin were kind of testing live that double collar tie, like that Muay Thai clinch.
Yeah.
Sort of
trying to put it under a little bit of stress and see if we can think through the positioning, what works for him, what doesn't work. So I'm trying to go heavy on the head and see how he's gonna react, what he's gonna try and go for.
Yeah. You may also be able to get a good snap down out of that from double bicep ties, like right here, the kind of bicep tie that he takes. If he snaps his own, like, it's a bit of a gamble because his head is under your control, but if he snaps you down from the biceps, which is totally possible, that directly translates to, you know, pulling at the shoulder. But he would have to lower his level and back himself out in order to make you want to plant your hands to the mat, and then he could maybe come up over the top if he creates enough space and gets out.
Kind of like a double throw by or something like that. I don't, if you will.
It's a snap down. It's just a bicep, bicep snap down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if my hands are on behind his neck, it's going to be a tough sell to try and shove it down and back out at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what he was having a hard time with here. Like, to your point, when you're trying to drop down and shoot into the legs, you know, he was kind of getting stuck with my elbows. And what I was telling him was just to drop down straight for an ankle pick. Because if you try and drive in with that double that Muay Thai clinch, I don't know what else to call it, but a double, then it's really tough to shake it when somebody's got their elbows pinched.
Yeah. Jason on a triangle with Ben. Let's see that set up real quick.
Close guard. I love how he pushed in the left hand of Ben, pinned it to his belly. You see him taking that early on, and then just hiking the legs right up over top of the shoulder. This is pretty textbook.
Yeah, classic push-pull right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the last day. This was the last day of Coast Guard week, so good to see you guys putting that stuff to work.
Big angle by Jason for that finish too.
Yeah.
It was really solid.
Nice.
Yep.
The quickness on that was great. As soon as he found the door, he was just like, there's nothing stopping me, blast through. And on the leg, too.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. That was a beautiful one. And then for the head and arm. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Another thigh pry finish. Try to hit it when I can. How's that set up? So I really, for this low single, the way I set it up was just on a reshot. Braden shoots on me. As soon as I feel him standing, I go in on my shot. And I took like this weird like inverted grip, passed it off to my hand, and then went through for the thigh pry, where I'm just trying to block his leg from moving forward as I drive into it. And that was excellent. When he did that, I was really hoping this is what he would do. It reminded me of you and your north-south work as well. But frame, really good frames. His arms are a little extended here. There's a little bit of danger he may find himself in. Braden, I don't want to say you're doing this wrong at all, because it's not, and it's working. Your hands might be a little bit safer up here at the shoulder line, but regardless, with the space you created, this is what I wanted you to do next. Get the one knee in, use that to start getting around to the angle you want, get your guard back, and get safe.
Yep. Yeah, it's elbow position. You want your elbows in front of the person on top.
Yeah. Got you and Jason battling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his guard is fun.
Something. Good mount escaping right into a single leg or a rimiashi. Nice on the come up with that leg for the mat return. Took you a little bit to get there, Braden, but you ended up setting up the power half there, I believe. Maybe it was more of a pull. I think you got your forearm across the back there, but you were really working a pull to get me over at that point.
Yeah, Jason just re-guarded. I passed his guard. I went around to north-south. And then, yeah, and then he was able to re-guard by giving me big bridges and getting his knees in.
So yeah, that's a better example of like where your hands should be when you're dealing with north-south. So you kind of knee surfing on him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. When he bridges, I feel he's so much more effective with it than like a lot of people. It's very annoying when you finally get to mount on him, like you can't. He makes it very difficult to play like the smashing kind of mount game.
Yep.
And then even if you're sitting upright, like your best bet is to just make sure that his hands don't make a connection with your hips, because when he bridges, he can push you down his legs, or shrimp his butt out to the side or whatever. But he needs to immobilize your hips, relative to himself.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time passing his guard here.
Yeah. He's definitely one where I would employ tiring him out as a strategy to guard passing him. And not even that doesn't necessarily work all the time.
Yeah, here is where I figured it out. And it was just with a knee cut pass. I timed something right. It felt a lot better this time that I did it. I remember it now. But like when I stood up in this position, my elbow was on the inside of his knee. It was low. I was able to pin the ankle or his knee down to the mat, step over, like I give this like exaggerated step over right there. And now I'm past the guard. Like I already knew I was past the guard by the time I got here.
Yeah. And he's not fishing for an underhook with his right arm here. He's framing at the shoulders. So even if I feel like this is one of those cases where even if you slide through on the knee cut and you don't have the underhook, you're not in as much trouble because he doesn't have it either. Like he hasn't won that battle. It's just not something you guys are fighting for. But yeah, you right there, you pretty much set it up. It's just real shallow.
Oh yeah, I remember this. For some reason, I was having a hard time remembering this roll, but I wound up doing a cow catcher here to try and break him down. I tried cracking him down to the mat from turtle, and then I wasn't able to get it. So then I hit this cow catcher, and then he immediately reguards on me, and I'm like as I'm trying to sit into Kesa, he gets his knee in front. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? And then I'm like, well, guess I gotta pass the guard again.
Yeah, I probably spend most of my rolls with him trying to pass his guard. Here we got Braden hitting his anaconda.
Oh yeah.
I just want to see these legs come up a little bit sooner. That's my only critique of this. Like the whole technique is great. I just want you to close the timing window between when you get on your back and when you employ your legs to clear my elbow.
Yeah, he's focused on the hand position instead of the leg position.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was great, and that window has been getting smaller and smaller. I just want to see it go to 0 by next weekend.
Jason sent me flying on that bridge.
Is it? Yeah, this is why
Right
I could never mount him for extended periods of time. He always hits a good bridge and sends me. Braden's trying to set up his 12 o'clock or his 10-finger guillotine here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, whatever.
It's so funny when these two find something that they just latch onto.
Yeah.
They get it. It's I don't. It's crazy. I wish I was like that when I was a kid.
There we go. Right at the buzzer. So I made Jeff start down with me because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this standing. And right off the bat, he just throws my leg by, pulls me. I managed to get my butterfly hooks back, but it was a quick exhibition of his power. Like, oh, this is gonna be a long 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then right here, I feel really good about elevating people and moving them from here, and it was just not happening. Like, all right, changing it up. So working to triangle at this point, and I'm taking a bit more of a reactive approach on this. So I don't have the luxury of controlling his left arm here. He's controlling mine. But when he pins my wrist like this, he's doing exactly what I want his arm to do, which is get out of the way of my right leg. So I take that as the opportunity to clear my leg to get it into the triangle position. Taps a little early on that.
And his arm is already across your body like that.
Yeah.
His right arm. Meanwhile, Steven has worked his way all the way around to mount on me.
So he's playing north-south. Damn,
I
from
steps
like,
right over.
basically from almost north-south, he
Yep.
steps over in and out.
Yeah, and he's crossing his feet. And the only way that I can deal with this, that I know how to effectively do it, is to act like I'm overcommitting to exposing my back, but keeping my shoulder and elbow in a good enough position. And the reason I'm doing this is to try and get my hips elevated in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And he starts to take the bait-ish, but he knows, like, we're talking about this as we're going. He's like, I don't want to take your back right now. He's like, I don't feel right. And I'm like, take my back.
Yeah, please.
And yeah, so all I'm doing is I'm scooting my butt out and blading my hips constantly to make this gap in between his hips and my hip. And then from there, anytime that he's able to move, I can push on the knee and get my legs in between us, and I can get back to a guard.
Okay.
And I don't know where I learned that from necessarily, but it seems to work for me.
So for the next 2 minutes, we're going to see
right.
Jeff holding me in case of Katame here. He had my arm and head completely under his control. You can see how far his body is out, and the way he's splaying his legs gives him a really, really good base. This was just like I was saying earlier, back when we used to train with Francisco, who was an Olympic judoka from Costa Rica. He'd get you in Kesa, and he may not have had, at the time, much in his arsenal, but you weren't getting out of his Kesa. And
You weren't going anywhere. That's
No.
damn sure.
no, so then, like, last night after all this, that's when I found out that Jeff had some judo in his background, and I'm like, oh, this whole thing makes a lot more sense now. Damn, Steven's trying to break your leg off.
Yeah, can we go back to how he went into this?
I mean, if you want to give him credit. Let's see. So,
Okay, that's what I thought. So I start playing this high knee shield. I'll call it a high knee shield. It's a lazy knee shield. You generally don't want to play this type of knee shield unless you want somebody to go in for your leg. So I'm playing, my heel is fully exposed here. You can see it. And I'm booting, okay? like I'll just leave it at that. I'm booting. That's an important like there's a reason why I'm doing this. And he comes in and immediately throws in this this top leg reap. So you can see his right leg is now reaping over my left leg. But I went in to try and shovel it off with my left arm. So I was banking on him going in and throwing in a really deep Ashigarami. I was not banking on him coming in straight for a reap. And so immediately I have to turn out of this. So my right leg is probably on his left leg here. I'm trying to push away. You can kind of see my leg is getting into the picture here.
Yeah.
And what happens is he, well, okay, well, I won't get the credit. He leaves his leg behind, is what happens. You'll see his left leg is actually left behind in this battle. I'm starting to turn towards Steven, which means that my left leg, my heel is actually tucked behind his body, meaning I have no risk of a heel hook anymore. Like I don't feel like I'm in danger anymore of a heel hook. I am in danger of a straight ankle lock, but I'm not going to get my leg broken from a straight ankle. I'll get it broken from a heel hook for sure.
Yeah.
But now you can start seeing that my right leg is in a position for me to fire in my own reap, and his leg is on that side of my body, which means that now I have full ankle exposure, or heel exposure rather.
Yeah.
And I can go in
under control.
And his knee is fully under control, so that now I can start to go in for the heel hook.
Yeah, you completely reverse that on him. And you find yourself in outside Ashi with that heel exposure, so you're just in you're in your favorite breaking position.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Meanwhile,
yeah, but I told him like flat out, I thought I was cooked. Like I thought I was done.
Yeah.
When he initially grabbed that, and I didn't think I could roll out of it. I was literally prepared to tap. Like I had my hand up, and I'm like, okay, now I think I can go. And then it was just like one little subtle turn that we made, and all of a sudden I was back in the game.
I feel like so right here was probably the closest he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys started rolling in this direction. If he had he didn't have heel exposure yet. Yeah, it's hard. He kind of, once you guys started rolling towards the end of the mat, he didn't really have much to immediately take advantage of. He had to like get his heel exposure back. So
something I learned from Gary a long time ago, and this was before the whole instructional thing, but just watching the way that Gary Tonin would do these leg lock shootouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is if somebody has heel exposure on you, okay, and has the heel hook grip, you can only go in one direction.
Right.
Okay. And in order to not break your own leg. However, that is not the preferred direction to get out of a heel hook. The preferred direction is to get your heel towards their body and to roll in that direction.
Right.
And that's because that gives you exposure to start counter leg attacking.
So hiding your heel, pointing your heel behind them, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. But now you see I'm going in the wrong direction. If Steven had the heel hook on me in this position, right? He had my heel exposed, then I would be rolling to my right. Mm. But you can see that if I keep rolling to my left, I promote heel exposure on Steven and I deny him heel exposure on me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I stitched together watching a lot of old reels of Gary and how he would go into these leg lock exchanges and always come out on top.
Would Danny finish there on Ben? Looks like just some other pressure. Okay, single leg. Sacrifice.
Gift wrap, back take.
So right about here, I tell Jeff, I'm like, look, we can do this for another minute and a half, or I could give you some things to do from here. So this was my way of relieving the pressure without tapping. It's a secret coach's trick.
Let me tell you about all the things that you could be doing.
I honestly, I feel like at this point I earned it after dealing with that for 2.5 minutes. I was like, he's not advancing right now, and I'm not getting out. We're just stalemated, so
yeah.
I'm like, let me give him some tips here. So I take him through like going to side control, take him through going to mount. I don't know if I showed him how to get to the back from here.
Steven almost broke my arm right about 5 seconds into our reset.
Oh, you guys are over here.
Yeah, you could see him like when I get into a stacking position to get out of this freaking armbar that he lays on me. So I'm 100%, and he's like trying to like cross his, like to triangle his legs, and my arm hurts from this today, my left arm, because it's like a bicep slicer that he's putting on me, and then it's like, well, I can't crunch in because I've got this bicep slicer, but I can't pull my arm out because I'm gonna get my arm broken.
Right.
And then I think just with enough sweat, I was able to slip out.
Good job, Steven.
That was a rough one.
Yeah, you guys tangled pretty good. So it looked like Ben got caught up in an omoplata / armbar dilemma here. So he leaves his arm behind, right? So he's in a little bit of trouble now. Danny goes to throw up the omoplata. Ben sits back against it, but still leaves his arm in, which Danny takes advantage of. Now he gets the armbar.
I think it's my round with Luke. Oh, we're off camera. Good. It's embarrassing. Oh, you switch grip? I was so panicked trying to keep my arm safe. I didn't even know you switched to grip.
Yeah, you would have been panicking a lot more if you didn't.
You locked up the grip.
Yeah. So I found out that Cooper can do straight ankles and knee bars, but that's, I want to say, in like the 14 to 17-year-old division. So I think Gavin and Braden still may be limited on what they can do with leg locks.
Okay.
I'll have to double check the rules, and you know, walkers, if you guys know for sure, go ahead and throw it in the chat. But either way, I think I told you guys before, I'm happy to see you still using Irimiyashi and those leg entanglements just to work sweeps, even if you can't attack with them. That's going to be an important skill regardless. Naga's rule book is like 200 pages, so it's not always easy to find.
They have a summary.
Yeah. That was the best ankle pick ever in the history of ankle picks. Just straight to the back take. Because of our age, the only thing we can do with legs is sweep. Okay, good. That's fine. You guys do it well, so that's all I care about. And in the meantime, I mean, since I want to say at 14 you could start to straight ankle and knee bar, you know, we'll get past this competition, but like, that's your next thing to think about as far as developing your leg game. Of course, you guys know you are getting better at heel hooks, but having a good straight ankle, that could really screw up some of your competitors once you bump up in the age division. Gavin with his own anaconda here dives through. Super quick on getting the legs up, and gets me in some trouble. You know, dog sitting my friend's dog. I don't know. I feel like he keeps popping up on screen, but he's this little tiny toy poodle. This is Hobson, everybody. If you see me fidgeting, it's because he won't sit still in my lap.
How do the cats stick to him?
They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he weighs like 5 pounds.
Yeah.
He's extremely quiet and friendly.
That's the best you can ask for.
He's nothing
dog.
like other dogs this size. It's the only reason I dog sit him, because he's actually cool. All right, riding up to the mounted triangle. As soon as you cut your angle on that, Gavin, that got very, very tight. I don't know how comfortable you are with mounted triangles. I don't mind you falling to your back when you set these up, especially if like you feel good about cutting the angle from your back. It's a little bit harder to do in the mount position. So maybe it's something to work on over the next year, like setting up and finishing mounted triangles could be something just to add to your arsenal. But either way, if you get to that position and want to roll, you did well to control your or rather to basically lock my head and arm up. You didn't really leave much space for me to get an easy slip, so I'd like to see that. Mitchell casually getting heel exposure on Danny here. Just nice good reap. Got your heel. Danny's not terribly concerned. Good forward pressure there, Gavin. I would have yelled at you if you just sat to your butt and like let me take top position again. Danny with the acrobatics. Look at that. Look at him go. Bam.
Yeah, you and Steven. Is it me and Braden? Yeah, it's me and Braden.
Putting to work the Muay Thai clinch you guys were talking about. Opting to use the sacrifice throw. Going from north-south. Repeated crackdown attempts on Steven here as he tries to set his turtle up. He's trying very hard to not let him get to there. He ends up winning. there was a little subtle move I did there, um, using a crackdown to get Steven to post his hand out to then sneak in my guillotine grip.
Mm-hmm.
And I got fairly deep on it. Obviously not deep enough for the guillotine itself, but just a way to, you know, to open up the turtle. I think we see that we usually use that when I would be behind Steven's shoulders, or like south of Steven's shoulders. You know, my hips matched up to his hips. I would pull with a tight waist. He'd base his hand out. I would try to slip my leg in. In this case, since I'm north of the shoulders, use the crackdown. He bases out, and you can open up the neck that way. I tried to get his hands to the mat again with this pull right here, but he was wise to not fall for that. And now I'm so like shy about throwing in that hook due to being Maki-komi'd all the time by Caleb, but I just decided to commit to it. Lost opportunity to pass his guard there. He inverted over. It's a poor attempt at taking Steven's back there as well. Instead of working to cross Ashi by spinning the leg, I just decided to use that hook to try to like kind of Barambolo, I guess, variation of that.
Do you have that bottom leg in? No. Okay.
Nah, I didn't have anything.
Got triangle.
I've had some luck in the past with the Hantai Senkaku, the wrong way triangle, on Steven, so I still try to go for it. But I think he learned his lesson a long time ago and doesn't ever let me get it anymore. Honestly, Steven, for this, I don't know if you could probably tell, but like I was actually really focused on the Kimura. I was trying to get that because I mean, I just said it. I don't really think I'll ever probably be able to wrong way triangle you again, at least not anytime soon. So I'm like, if I can at least get the arm out, I know I can use the Kimura as a backup. Again, nice takedown, Braden. Seems like you really like that trip. Impressed me reach my unlock. Yeah, for sure. Man, this was a perfect time to try to put some of the false reap stuff that we were playing with to work, but I was just not set up for it at all. Yeah.
He's trying to go into cross Ashi on you.
Yeah.
Percenter, but just not the right angle for it.
Exactly. So now just going to close guard to try to shut down his body lock.
Yeah.
So let's look at Braden again. So Braden hits that takedown, stays on side control. So he's making his way to mount. And I believe he takes your back here.
Yep.
It was good. You get the elbow across the center line. Be very careful, Braden, about your leg position. Don't hang out here. Remember, most likely Mike is going to be the one dictating, or your opponent's going to be the one dictating which side you guys are on. So when you open your legs like that to try to turn, um, you're just inviting Mike to slip his hips out this way in this case. So be very careful about that. Use caution when you know, when you're already on a side and you want to switch sides. I would rather see you, like, you know, if Mike picks the side that you don't want, then make do with it anyway. If he rides up the center, then you can, you know, use crab rides and stuff to kind of force him to a side. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that's the right approach. I normally, I'll use crab rides to have people overcommit to one side or the other, maybe to like limit some of their movement. But yeah, I think the intention was correct, but to Matt's point, if you let that right foot linger, and especially with your knee, so like one dumb little detail here is that your knee is flared out when you start to bridge. If your knee is pointing in and your foot is planted flat on the mat, it's going to be harder because your knee is going to be pointing straight up, and it's going to create a wedge for me to not be able to necessarily slide my hips out. I would have to hop my hips over. It'd be a little bit more difficult. But since your knee is pointed, I'll call it straight to the right on the outside, it'd be a lot easier for me to slip my hips out here.
Go for the arm trap. There you go. Doing a lot of hand fighting here, trying to get an arm under control. You know what I don't think I do enough of is trying to switch to clamp guard.
You know, you and me both.
Like when someone's playing a tight, like, it's like I don't need to break down Steven's posture because he's burying his head into my chest. I can't get his arms across. Like, I need to manipulate my hips here.
Yeah, but it's so hard. The way that when Steven's in the closed guard here, his elbows are normally, like, when you try to cut angles, he pins his elbows to his hips, nice and tight. It's very tough for me to get around him there. Yeah, you have to, like, try to go into. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you just have to, like, try to open your legs and kick off, like, your hamstrings against his thighs to, like, shift your hips around. But then, you know, he's gonna immediately be looking to pin a leg and pass.
Yep.
Just like right there.
Just like that. Yeah, I try to get into clamp guard when he goes through for body locks, because that's a good way to shut down a body lock, is to get into a clamp guard.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, close guard in general, but clamp guard, you can be very attacking, you know, like in a very dominant offensive position.
Yeah.
Armpit push, trying to get your hips out.
You know what I couldn't do there is backstroke up to my elbow, like with my bottom arm. I couldn't get, you can't see it on the screen, but I couldn't get up on my elbow post. So there was no way I was going to be able to power through that. All right, so yeah, let's watch Aries here as he tries to do some sneaky judo on me. I think he said he was, he got up to, like, orange belt. He also trained with a Cuban Olympian down in Miami, I guess a few years back. See, how do I get behind him? So, off that whizzer, slip behind. And now I'm trying to hit, like, a Diashi, kind of get it there, but not very cleanly. And then he's, Aries is a white belt. So, of course, just kind of take him through a little intro to the straight jacket. he was making some early mistakes here in fighting my legs with his arms, which generally we know to be a bad idea, but especially when you're doing it with your top side arm, that's what's going to happen. So you can see right here, we're centered up, but now Aries has his left arm on my legs. So I look to kind of start leading us towards the right. That makes his left arm his top arm, and it makes it easy for me to trap. So do it first with crossed ankles, and then I think I could probably sneak his arm behind his back just because we're about the same size. So right there, I make that switch. And notice how I'm pulling, I'm like wedging my shoelaces against his hip to kind of lock it in. Not being lazy with my my hooks there. And then once we roll over to this side, I don't have to do too much work to keep it trapped. This is probably worst case scenario. This is how you saw Gordon Ryan in his match against Andre Galvao. Galvao switched over to the he made his trapped arm the bottom side arm, and from there that was kind of the beginning of the end. I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing some stand-up with Aries.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna put it to us. Just about hit a Tayatoshi there. And a really, really good double. Like he sweeps in on the single leg.
That was nice.
He kind of had both legs there, but like that's a good example of when we talk about sweep singles, the kind of motion we're looking for. A little too slow. So you watch his legs sweep around as he cuts his angle, and then finishes the double leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was solid.
What did Steven do to get Mitch on the grounds? Oh, I guess Steven pulled guard. Okay. Big high leg over, but I catch him in half guard. And I have my underhook, so I know pretty confidently that once I slip my head, I'm just going to take his back. I'm not sure how familiar he is with like side triangles and this whole dilemma that he gets put in here, but as he turns towards me, I move around to probably very familiar positions to the rest of you at this point, kind of to the dorsal position, but I don't go for the Kimura attack. I can feel that he's basically put himself into the triangle at this point, so I just kind of take what he's given me. Anytime we go over the side triangle, like when Luke teaches his leg scissor stuff, Luke will sometimes have me go over how I handle getting the deeper connection, and you could see it here. So right now I have the triangle, but my legs, I don't have like a good triangle. It's like my toes are behind my knee, not my ankle behind my knee. So I open up my legs, I go belly down, and I straighten my legs out. And you could watch the back of my top knee there, my left knee, right there. It just shifted right to his armpit. Then I bring my hips back down. I relock my triangle, and now I can put on a decent strangle. And give him his hair tie back. Not going for the Russian wrist snap.
Mm-hmm.
He does a great job getting my feet moving, getting me off balance. Had to hit him with my own double there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I think we talked about that setup. I don't know if we talked about that when we were going over stuff with Gavin and Braden, but I switched to like double biceps, pull him over me, and then lower my level. So I'm not taking like a full penetration step. I'm just lowering my level as I pull him by, and then he steps right into where I want him. Hands behind the knees, and then cut the angle for the finish.
Yeah, rather than you shooting in, you're getting him to commit into you.
Yeah. And then we I think we called it here. He was feeling this was his last round and my last round too, so got Danny and Luke coming back into the scene. And Mitch trying to break knees and ankles still. Danny almost inverting. Steven being very merciful.
Not going for the 50-50 inverted heel hook.
But gets the straight ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Danny getting the sweep on Luke. I'm kind of in the way. So Danny sets up his 100%er grip before we get too far. So Luke's got Danny seated right now.
Yep.
But Danny gets that 100%er grip that we were going over in class.
Switches to like a cow catcher here. And then goes back.
Yeah, Luke's trying really hard to get his knees underneath him. Good. Yeah, you look like you got a little fire lit under you now. You're like, all right, I'm just gonna pass you and smash you. I love seeing Luke this mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Just gives me hope. That's round. Good stuff. Cool. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, guys. I hope you're all enjoying your long weekend, and appreciate you guys tuning in when you could just be out drinking because you don't have to go to work tomorrow, but you're sitting here studying with us, so it means a lot. No class tomorrow. Check your emails. We have a 10 a.m. open mat that we're going to do, so if you guys want to come train, get your Memorial Day sweat on, come to the mats at 10 a.m. and we will put you through the paces. Let's see what else. Moving on to open guard. I guess starting Tuesday now. And then we have the competition on Saturday. So if you guys want to compete, you've probably already signed up and have talked to us and everything. As always, we love it when you guys come out and support all the competitors. So I know we have Josh. Josh may be the only adult competing right now. Then we got Gavin and Braden, and probably Kurt's boys, but I'll have to double check. So come on out and support the team if you can. It's always appreciated. It's not too far. It's up in Hickory. So what else? Anything else? I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend and take a little time out to trim your nails, do your laundry. Don't be stinky. Follow us here, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys soon.
Later.
See ya.